Hey, this is Nick the Mining Book Guy. Before I get into today's talk, I just want to say this is probably the last time you're going to see this couch and this blank wall. I know I've gotten a few complaints or just people wanting me to mix things up who are long-time Mining Book Guy channel viewers. So there will be some stuff shaken up in the Mining Book Guy network, but just had to make that comment because you'll be in for some cooler stuff in the future. But right now, I'm going to be talking about my experience at the London One-to-One conference a couple weeks ago. So I was over in Europe, and there were definitely some awesome highlights. Number one, the people I met there was fantastic because these are people I absolutely wouldn't meet in North America, and they're all based out of Europe, and I've known them, some of them on CEO.CA prior, online networking, and some of them just kind of popped out of nowhere when I made a message on CEO, and they don't necessarily post that much, but they're active online, and so that was really cool. I have to first give a couple shout outs to friends Kevin S. and Fundamental Analysis, and this was neat because they're guys I've talked to for a while, and we planned to do some of these one-to-one meetings together and to hang out, and it really worked. Didn't just work out great, but I know that these guys are going to be going back to one-to-ones in the future. Kevin's already attended a few, but Fundamental Analysis definitely had a great time and is going to be back. So that's cool that networking is going to continue. And then some other guys, Orman, David, Bull Market Move, who have done some cool interviews with in the past, ValcoVest.com, Fast Track. Just shout outs to a bunch of people I met, and it was great for most of us to be able to hang out, and that was absolutely a highlight. I hopefully more online type people start meeting at these things. I think it's a huge benefit, and this is definitely a great conference for that. Unfortunately, I missed NARCAT and the Galvanizer. Just gave them the shout outs too, because it was a little tough to meet people because the company's meetings were such a huge part of this event. So that's, besides meeting the people, you want to come to these things to find new companies. And I have to say this is the best mix I've ever experienced. And I've told people before, Beaver Creek is my favorite conference in North America. Well, I have to say that there are so many new companies I saw here because they're listed on all the different exchanges. They're across all the different commodities. And a lot of them, they just don't show up in North America because they actually get more interest in London or maybe other places. So it's really something important to realize that there's different interests in different parts of the world, and you just wouldn't know that if you're only stuck in one geographic area. Great example, Argonaut Resources, which is ARE on the ASX. Now I don't own this. I almost wish I bought right after my meeting, but I wanted to bring it up as an example because they have an Olympic Dam look-alike target down in South Australia, and I had known a little bit about this, but I was encouraged by meeting management. And what's so interesting is I think it was trading at 1.7 or 1.8 Aussie cents, and there was huge news from BHP about a discovery like a week or two later, and the thing ran up 50% or almost like 3 cents or something. And so that would have been a great example, at least of a short-term trade that I could have made money on. And maybe I still will buy it because it's come down a bit. But they were also in London because they have this copper cobalt asset in Zambia. And this is something where I think people in the UK are very interested in that asset, but you wouldn't get that interest in North America. And so for their purposes, London has interest in Australia, has interest in Africa, and it's really a great place for those types of stories. As a couple other examples, one reason I really wanted to go to this one-to-one was I knew that Adriatic Metals, ADT on the ASX, and Mod Resources, MOD on the ASX, but newly dual listed on the LSE, were attending here, and maybe they travel to North America occasionally, but London is home base for Adriatic, and it's almost becoming a second home for Mod because of that dual listing. And so it also gives you that idea that so much capital is flowing through London, and Adriatic is a European story in Bosnia. Mod is an African story in Botswana, which has a very strong relationship with the UK. So again, great examples of why you want to go to London or Europe for different types of stories. And those were both great meetings. Learned a lot more about, you know, the strategy and some things. I knew a lot about both companies, but, you know, meeting in person, there was definitely value for those companies that I already knew about as well. So just a few examples there. And I have to end with just a big thank you for the one-to-one group. Now, I wish I met more people, but Charlie Hastings, I'll give him a, you know, special shout out, because great emailing back and forth before the conference really helped me come up with all my meetings and you know, schedule them. I had 16 meetings. They were great. You know, all types of companies. You know, some of them were private, different exchanges, small and big. And he helped a ton with that. I know that there's other people on the team that have done a lot of work. And these guys are working around the clock on other conferences. And so even if you're not in Europe, I think the one-to-one group is the best, probably global group out there, because they do something in Hong Kong. I give a shout out to Samson, who's also on CEO.CA, who has attended that multiple times. So if I'm lucky, maybe I'll end up out there and meet Samson sometime. And I really wish I could go to the Cape Town, South Africa one, which many people have told me is the best. Even though I think this London one was fantastic, that's definitely the best for Africa and African companies. And it's supposed to be, you know, a beautiful time of year to go down January, February. So just, even if you're not in London, you can go to these other ones. But again, London one-to-one, top conference, probably the closest thing to Beaver Creek that I've attended, and it's for Europe. I hope that more, you know, European CEO.CA people or anybody watching this channel considers it, and it's, I think, twice a year in London. So yeah, awesome conference, thumbs up, and it was great to meet all the guys from CEO.CA, and I don't know if I'll end up there again next year, but hopefully sometime in the future. All right, this is Nick the Mining Book Guy. Thanks for watching.